Hello, all Hoosier fans, Hoosier haters, and everyone in between. This is the Crimson Coliseum podcast, and August is here, which means that basketball season's right around the corner. And I can't be an IU podcast without at least mentioning IU men's basketball. I do want to mention that I'm not going to focus on it. It's going to be a very much like if they make the tournament, how well they do in the Big Ten tournament, NCAA tournament. I'll talk about it, but I'm not going to be as big on it as others are because there's so many other podcasts that talk about IU basketball. Just go watch them. Like Assembly Call, really good. Hoosier Hysterics, good in the podcast sense, but um, go watch them if you want to talk about if you want to listen to people ramble on about IU men's basketball. But anyways, I got some guests here. So you guys remember Jack?
Hey, what's going on?
He is back from the IU football episode. And with me now is also a fifth year senior trombone member, Mr. Ethan Schneider.
Hey guys, what's up?
All right, to start it off, Marching 100 season's closing in and band camp starting anew. Ethan, what are you most excited about for 100 and what show are you most excited to play in?
Well, I definitely always like shows that I think will resonate and are different. Thus, I really do like the Hoist the Colors show. I think that is definitely, pirates are cool. Um,
For sure.
I don't know, some of the songs that were playing in it were memes at a certain, like not too long ago. So I definitely think that it's something that'll resonate with the student section and the crowd.
And then, Jack, I forgot to ask you about this in IU during the IU football episode, but what show are you most excited for to play in, and what are you most excited about to be in 100 for?
So yeah, I think the show that I am really excited to play in is Back When Your Parents Were Cool. I think a couple people on some previous episodes mentioned this one, and I thought we just got the music for most of our shows yesterday or a couple of days ago. And I was expecting it to be more of like the 80s classics that a lot of that we played last year. But it's a lot of like 90s grunge rock, and for like that's like my favorite genre of music. And I don't want to spoil it too much because we'll be talking more in depth about 100 later. But yeah, I think that's the show that I'm most excited for.
Yeah, we'll go more in depth on what songs are going to be on what shows when we get to that preview episode. And I'll go more into that schedule once we get to the end of this episode. But now get back our focus on men's basketball. And the biggest topic going into this offseason was I would probably say the probability of Mike Woodson returning, because there were some rumors that he was going to get fired, but it looks like he's staying, which is, in my opinion, the right move. This is only his third year and his first year missing the tournament entirely. I really think he should have not IU should not have been a first four team a couple of years ago. Ethan experienced why that was a terrible decision.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
but it's it making the tournament twice in 3 years is a really good start for a head coaching career. And building up a program takes a lot of time. And I know IU fans are very impatient. We have seen that before. We're very impatient. We want results now. And that's just something that can't happen in college sports where you can't get results now. It takes time to build a program. It takes time. Getting guys drafted in the first round of the NBA draft, that helps build a program up. Getting guys that are able to win also does that too. I think Woodson deserves this year at least. And then we'll look on to the future to see if how the results are this year will affect it.
I definitely think the all the backlash, like, okay, last year was frustrating to watch. I you know we had a very talented team that just wasn't winning basketball games. Um, and I definitely think that be I think the Purdue game at home really signified this for me. It was a mental thing last year. And you can always argue like, oh, that's on the coach for not instilling like the will to win in his players. And you could make that argument, but it's to me, it's just ridiculous that people wanted Woodson fired that badly. Like, look at all he's done in his first few years. All the guys he's brought in. You want your coach to be able to recruit well.
Mhm.
I think that is the foundation for being a good college basketball coach. Well, a good coach in any college sport. Is the ability to recruit well and be able to have your name up there, like Indiana's name up there in like the 5-star recruits. Like even being considered for a recruit is really good. And we've been considered for a lot of the best recruits over the past couple of years. Um, so as for last year, yeah, again, it was very frustrating to watch, but I think it was definitely more so of us just not having that guy on the court. We lost Trace Jackson Davis. That is always going to hurt. He's one of the best players in IU basketball history. Um, so that's always going to hurt. I think things could have been a lot worse without him. We still won some big games. And while in the middle right there towards the beginning of 2024, it was definitely noticeable that we were struggling.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, again, we just didn't have that guy on the court. And, if you look at who our best players were last year, most, if not all of them, were underclassmen. So that's again, that is just a time thing. We're still getting out. We're still kind of getting out of the Archie Miller era, um, which was a dark period. So yeah, I think this year we have more veteran leadership. I think there is zero reason for Coach Woodson to ever have any backlash on this year. He should not be, quote, on the hot seat. He never was, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just think the expectations were way too high last year. Like we lost Jackson Davis, that's a huge loss, but we also lost three upper starters. Oh, the Galloway was the only starter that returned from 22-23. And like like Ethan said, like most of our best players were underclassmen. And we had so many inexperienced guys playing significant minutes, like Gabe Cups. Like I don't think anyone really expected him to get nearly the amount of minutes that he got, which is good for the future, but in terms of last year, definitely was not what we were expecting. And yeah, also like good. I think Mbako played really well. I think he showed a lot of talent, especially towards the end of the year. And I think, yeah, like guys like Renew, I think showed a lot of promise. But again, I think Coach Woodson did an incredible job considering what he had on the court. And I think I'm definitely feel like we played very well last year considering what we had.
And you saw it at the end of the season too, when we went on that huge run to at least be in consideration for the tournament. And then Trey Galloway got hurt, and then it was sad.
Yeah.
But I think, and we'll talk about this a little later when we go into like what I think the roster looks like. We got Dallas James as our 13th scholarship. He's a super senior out of I think out of a NAIA school. Um, but and he only got scored 1 point and averaged 1 rebound, but he's going to be more of that vet leader that you can never have enough of.
Mhm.
You can never have enough veteran leadership in a locker room.
But
But
yeah,
But to go into how we think this season's going to go, just for some predictions, I'm very confident in this team. I think we can win this Big Ten. We could finally sweep Purdue and win this Big Ten. Maybe not sweep. I think we'll probably split the games between us and Purdue. But I think we can make the Sweet 16, which is something that is crazy talk for a Big Ten team. What going to the Sweet 16? What is that? But this is a this could be a very interesting team. I think we have a lot. We can make a lot of noise, and I think we're going to get ranked in the preseason poll once that comes out because of just
Oh, for sure.
how much talent we've brought in. So
I
very
consistently seen
interesting.
us ranked first in the Big Ten, so it's
Yeah,
definitely possible. We got a great roster heading into the season.
yeah, very excited.
Yeah, I got. Should I get into predictions too?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think I always like looking at it as a floor ceiling type thing. Our floor, there is zero reason this team should not make the NCAA tournament. As at least a lower seed, maybe like middle to low. Yeah, being first four team would be frustrating. Having to go to Dayton,
That'd be
Uh,
rough.
yeah, that would be like, come on now. Um, but our ceiling, definitely a ranked team going into the tournament. I think that is very on the table. I think it wouldn't be too broad to think of us as like a middle ranked team. Not expecting like first seed or anything. You know, I we're
That'd
not
be crazy.
2021 Gonzaga. Yeah, we're not a superpower. We're not gonna be beating teams by like 30 every game. But no, I think definitely our ceiling is a middle ranked team that at least makes a Sweet 16. We're going to be frustrated at points, and people are going to make drastic, very dramatic assumptions about the team. Like so and so has to go. So and so should never have been recruited. Um, but I don't know. I think in the end, this team is a tournament team. And even in the Big Ten, we should at least make the finals. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, that's for me. I think this is too good of a team to just not do anything this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think Indiana is going to be very competitive in the Big Ten this year. The top of the Big Ten is going to be really fun to watch. Like we've got the new teams coming in. We got UCLA. I think they're going to be really good. Purdue's always a factor. Michigan State with Tom Izzo is always a factor. We got some good young teams like Maryland and Rutgers who should make some noise. Ultimately, I think we're going to come in second during the regular season, make the Big Ten semis, and I think we'll make the tournament as like a 4 seed. Probably. I think we can make the second weekend. I think we'll make the Sweet 16, maybe go further, make some noise. I think we have the potential to pull an upset over a team like UConn, Kansas in the right environment. Um, do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. But I think we can make the Sweet 16 for sure. This team is really talented. One of the, if not the most talented team in the Big Ten. But ultimately there's going to be a lot of new pieces and there's a lot of questions about how they're all going to fit together. And I think a lot of them will be answered positively. And the ceiling is really high for this team. But ultimately, in a conference like the Big Ten, where continuity is really important, I think we would fall just short of a Big Ten regular season title and the Big Ten tournament as well.
And just for some history, IU has only, I believe, has only made the Sweet. The last time that IU has made the Sweet 16 was when Victor Oladipo and Cody Zeller were there.
Oh my gosh,
Woof.
that's
So
rough. We can get there. We got this.
yeah, we'll talk about Oladipo later on, but and it does. So it's been rough, but I think we have a
There's hope.
really, yeah, we just gotta hope. Wait, no, it wasn't Oladipo and Zeller. No, it was 2016. 2016 was last time with Thomas Bryant and OG Anunoby.
Oh,
So
yeah. I have to remind myself that Oladipo wasn't on that team.
yeah,
I keep forgetting that OG Anunoby went to IU. I don't know why.
What?
Maybe it's because I didn't grow up an IU fan. I didn't grow up an IU fan. I'm from Pennsylvania, but I keep forgetting that he went to IU.
and
No.
you got to
I just
understand
have
my
to keep reminding my
frustration.
I just have to keep reminding myself that Oladipo is older than I think he is.
Yeah.
And my frustration whenever the Pacers drafted TJ Leaf over OG Anunoby.
Oh yeah.
That ended up very, very well for you guys.
Oh, definitely. But anyways, but before we're going too off topic, um,
Yeah.
just going into what we think the most important game of this season, and that's going to rely on how our prediction is going to go. In my opinion, I don't have a specific game. It's the game after the Battle for Atlantis. That's a very, very big tournament with a lot of good teams there, like a Gonzaga, where we could pull off a couple big wins in that tournament.
I think
And
it's funny. Sorry, I think it's funny that Umar Balo is going to go up against both, could potentially go up against both of his former schools in that tournament,
oh, that'd be fun.
Oh,
But
both Gonzaga and Arizona. That'd be really funny.
but the thing is, what is Indiana's biggest Achilles heel is after a big win, they have not been able to keep that momentum going. Whether it's after they beat Purdue or anything like that, they just have a stinker right after. So being able to win that next game against much weaker competition, 'cause it's probably going to be a non-conference game, right? Um,
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
either
Hold
Sam
on.
Houston State or a Big Ten game. So
Probably going to be Sam Houston State. I can't imagine
yeah,
that they would fit a Big Ten
so
game in there.
so either Sam Houston State, Miami, or that first Big Ten game of the season. Those three games there, being able to keep the momentum from the Battle for Atlantis or improving on it if we don't do well is going to be key for how the season goes.
Yeah, IU basketball definitely seems to always make national coverage, but never be able to maintain it. Um,
Mhm.
so I definitely do agree that the game after is going to tell us a lot. For me, I think your most important game is always Purdue at home. Um, the expectation for IU is always to beat Purdue at home because that just ignites the fans. The fans do matter in the college sense. Being able to get in your player in the opposing team's head, that's a real thing. So yeah, Purdue at home to me is always the expectation, no matter what roster we're coming in. Um, Purdue's our biggest rival, and they're coming off of their greatest year since 1969. Subtle burn right there. Um, but yeah, I think major questions will arise about the roster's mindset again this year if we lose to Purdue at home. Like I keep saying at home because Mackey Arena, no shade. It's one of the greatest college arenas in the Big Ten. Um, but yeah, like last year, as I said earlier, I think our biggest issue was just mindset. Um, I I think the players weren't entirely in it. Maybe some of the younger players didn't quite understand what this Purdue rivalry meant to IU as a whole. Um, so if that happens again, where we lose to them with this roster, then it will be a question about the mindset. So we just need to beat Purdue. If we don't, then I think no matter what happens with the season, people are going to be upset. It's going to take a
Yeah.
national title to not be upset with the season if we lose to Purdue in Assembly Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't pick just one important game. I think just the most important part of this season is to defend Assembly Hall and win games at home against really good Big Ten teams. Because I was just looking at this schedule and it's crazy the amount of like good Big Ten teams we play at home. Like we've got Illinois, Maryland, Rutgers, UCLA, Purdue, all coming to Assembly Hall this year. And I think one of the big takeaways that I took from last year is we just weren't able to close it out at home. And we lost a lot of games that we should not have had, that we should not have at home. And if there's anyone out there that's listening to this podcast that plans to come into a game at Assembly Hall this year, please don't boo the players. I understand that like a lot of questions about the mindset, like Ethan said, but that's not going to help. Like I feel like Assembly Hall needs to be a tough but supportive environment. We need to support the players and give them the best chance they have to succeed. And I think with this roster, if we do that, then the results will follow.
No matter
Yeah, I
how
think,
frustrated you are, the players are more frustrated than you. It's what I
Yeah, for
always
sure.
think in
and
any
also
sport.
this is a personal gripe. Please, 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 please don't bet on college sports. Please. I'm against sports betting in general, but especially when you're betting in college. And also another thing, when your own team is shooting free throws, please don't blurt out something random as they're shooting. If they're
Oh
your
my
own team,
gosh.
please
That happened
don't.
so much last year.
It happened basically every time. And I get it, you're probably gonna get a $5,
No,
you're gonna get $5 more from it, but it's not really worth it. That's just my personal gripes. But
Mhm.
anyways, going from the team to just the roster itself, players that we think are just gonna be the stars of the team, that players look out for. And I'll start with Mackenzie Mbako, a sophomore, sorry, gotta say it right, from Gladstone, New Jersey. Averaged 12 points, 4 rebounds, 32% from three, a little close to 33%. If he can improve his defense, I think that's where his growth is going to be from. Because I remember in that UConn game, oh God, who was the announcer in that UConn game? It was on ESPN, but whoever it was just ripping into Baco, just standing straight up and not looking active on defense, which he got better at. He got a lot better at
Mhm.
being more active defensively. And I think he's a 3-point shooter, which is what this team needs a lot of.
oh
But
yeah.
I think he's a really good catch and shoot threat. Um, if he could just improve his defense enough to turn guys away, because we saw it in the Minnesota game where he was really good on Chris Christie, I think is who it was. But
Yeah, I just think Mbako is going to grow a lot this year.
mhm.
Like, I think this is the year he really starts to build like his NBA stock. I think he definitely has the potential to be the best player. I think he will be the best player on this team. I think he'll be the main scorer, main offensive threat for sure. One of the main 3-point threats. He's the guy I'm probably most excited to see this year.
Ooh, I personally am a Malik Glazer. Um, I think
Okay,
I
Noah.
He's good
okay.
too. He's good too.
I think he can win Big Ten Player of the Year. Um, I think there's a good
That's
chance
bold.
that he could win it. Oh, dude, I freaking love his game. He, to me, was the most consistent player on our team last year.
I agree
And
with
he
that.
was like, he's only going to get better. I think this is his biggest year. I think he's going to be either him or Mbako, but I think he is definitely going to be one of the probably one of the faces of this team. Um, he's a great shooter, which is what this team needs desperately. Oh my God. He's also just a big guy, and that's big in the Big Ten.
Hmm.
No pun intended. But yeah,
It's
I'm on
big.
I'm on the Malik hype train this year. I think he's just amazing.
What's crazy to me is like, I don't know. The fact that Umar Ballo is not considered the best player on this team next year to me is crazy. Like, I mean, I don't agree. I think he probably is the third best player on this team, but like, just he is he has an amazing like track record. Like he was first team all Pac-12, first team all defensive team, and this guy, he's a big dude, and he's going to make a big impact down low. I think he's going to be the center. Him with Mbako and Renew, that is an amazing front court. And I think he's going to make a big impact, especially in the Big Ten, where having a big, strong guy in the center is very important. I think he's going to make a big impact. Big impact. I think he's the best center in the league, in the conference. And yeah, I think he'll be really good this year. Really good
Mhm.
addition.
Yeah, I think all three players, like that front court's going to be nasty for
It's
anyone.
stacked. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh!
Going back to Renew real
Like
quick.
looking.
I think the way Renew gets Big Ten Player of the Year is if he just stays calm during double teams. If he's able to stay calm and read the double
Mhm.
teams well, something that Trace did a lot well. I think.
But how many double teams? I mean, honestly, how many double teams do you think he'll face if Ballo's there with him? Like Ballo also got like
Well,
65%
that's the thing.
field goal,
Like
65%
Malik is
from the
also
floor. Like
stupidly good too, and can hit almost any shot on the floor.
I don't
But
know who you double
yeah,
in
because
that situation.
well, you can't double them because you got some really good shooters on the
Yeah,
outside. But some
yeah.
players I think that we think are just going to break out and surprise people. I am really on, and he's only a freshman. He just got here to Bloomington, but I'm on the Bryson Tucker hype train. I
Hmm.
really liked what I saw. He's 6'7". He's going to probably play that small forward position behind Mbako. And the way like he just fits IU's scheme of what they want to run. He averaged 22, 5, and 2 in high school. Went to IMG Academy, and then halfway through it, he went over to Virginia. But he was an All-American, won a gold medal with the under 16 championships a few years ago. But I think he's gonna be very, very good with this team. And especially if, let's say, he stays a year and Baca goes to the draft, he could easily be the starting small forward for this team next year.
Yeah, sorry, trying I was looking at stuff on Google. I'm trying to get back to my notes. Gabe Cup's someone who already surprised everybody last year. He again, what I said with Malik, he's just gonna get better. And last year he was our playmaker as a newcomer too. So I think he's just gonna build on that. I like his game. Is one of the he's definitely one of the most serious players on the team, it seems, at least on the court. Not that no one else is, you know what I mean. Um, I don't know. I just like his aura. Um, just shut up. Um, and I think a
True.
further breakout year is just in the works for him.
Yeah. The player that I don't know if like break out is the right term, but a player that I think is gonna like definitely go back to some of his like previous like production and success is Trey Galloway. I think he had a lot of like just weight on him last year. I think he was at the beginning of the year especially expected to come out and be like one of our main offensive players. And I don't know if he was ready for that. Like, just looking at his 3-point production from his junior year to his senior year, it dropped 20%. And I think a lot of that is because he had to take more attempts and there was a lot more defensive focus on him. This year, there is a very good chance he could come off the bench. Like, I think, and when we get into the roster later, like we have, yeah, he could be the sixth man, which means that there will be a lot less defensive pressure on him with guys like Mbako being a threat from deep, with other good scorers like Renew, Ballo, Kane, and Carlisle. Like, there will be a lot more threats on this team. And I think there will be a lot less pressure on him, a lot less just expectations for him. And I think he'll still lead. He'll be a great leader for this team, but I think his production is going to be so much better without all that pressure.
With the thing with Trey, I he's definitely one of the better players on the team. Last year he shouldn't have been a starter. I know that they were trying to just get that senior leadership on there, but it didn't work. He's just not a guy who is gonna start. He's gonna be on the starting five and make that first couple minutes impact. That'll just blow the crowd away. He's
Mhm.
someone you plug in to keep things alive.
He's
Um,
a TJ McConnell type of guy.
yeah, yeah. Very smart player, very good on the defensive side, but he is just, yeah, he's a very good six man. If I really don't think he should have been a starter because again, he's just not that type of guy who's gonna make that immediate impact on the court.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I think a big problem with last year was there was just not that much guard talent outside of Xavier Johnson and Trey Galloway that you could say was consistent. Because I think Gabe Cupps was
Just shot
basically,
creep.
yeah, there's no real, like, he was just don't turn the ball over. That was his main goal.
Yeah.
But
Shot creation just wasn't there. There like never was a clear like offensive flow
mhm.
when I that I observed last year.
Speaking of new guys, uh, who do you think is going to be a newcomer that is going to make the most impact? And I'll start with Kanan Carlisle, transfer from Stanford. One of those well, rip the Pac-12 first of all, but Stanford transfer, averaged 11
Rip the
points,
Pac-12.
yeah, rip Pac-12, 11 and a half points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 32% three-point shooter, solid, just more of a pure scorer out of the two
Mhm.
guard transfers. But really liked what he's got. He's gonna probably gonna be that starting two guard, and I think he can easily be a good catch and shoot threat on any open screens. And I am very, if you haven't watched it, look up the Stanford Washington State game with the other transfer, Miles Rice. I think that was a really good game between both guys, and just going to show how much better guard talent is here at Indiana this year compared to last year.
Yeah, I definitely agree on Carlisle. I think 3-point percentage that's what we need. We we
Mhm.
need shooters on the free throw line. We were missing Miller Kopp last year. It was evident. Um, Free throw percent it just was not good. That was part of our big frustration last year, along with mindset. But yeah, I think he just fits everything. I agree. He just fits everything we need in um in this team.
Yeah, I think the other guy you were talking about, Miles Rice, he is going to step in and he's going to be probably he's going to be the starting point guard for sure. And I think he's a really good playmaker. He can also score, which I think is a part of his game that I think is undervalued. It might take more of a back seat this year because of the amount of scores that we got. But I think, like we were saying earlier, playmaking was a big issue last year. And I think Miles Rice will be able to facilitate a lot and plug that hole. I also think that Luke Goody coming off the bench, the transfer from Illinois, will also be a really good addition. He's experienced. He's going into his final year of eligibility, and while he is a one trick pony, he's a sharpshooter, but a sharpshooter off the bench, I think, is exactly what we need. I mean, he was almost a 40% shooter last year with a high volume of shots. And
Mhm.
in the Big Ten, I think that's really incredible. And that's something that we're going to need, especially off the bench.
Yeah. And just here's my honest line of predictions, and you guys, if you guys want to add anything different, what you guys think is going to be different, you can. But I think it's going to be starting five: Miles Rice, Kaden Carlisle, Mackenzie Mbako, Malik Renew, and then Omar Ballo. And then the backups: Gabe Cupps, Trey Galloway is going to be the sixth man,
Mhm.
Bryson Tucker, Luke Goody, and then Langdon Hatton. And then in that reserve spot is going to be Anthony Leal at the back behind Galloway. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. Can you guys hear
Oh,
me?
that's fine. Yeah, we got
Yeah,
you. You're
Sorry
back.
about that, everyone. That was weird. It just crashed on me. Uh, where did you guys hear me last at?
You were talking about, yeah, Rice, Carlisle, and I think you skipped to Cups.
Okay,
So we've
so
completely
so
missed the
sorry.
first
Yeah,
bit.
so starting
Yep.
lineups. So I'll just go like by position by position. I think it's going to be Miles Rice and Gabe Cupps as the point guard. Kenny Carlisle, Trey Galloway, who's going to be the sixth man on the team, and Anthony Leo as the shooting guards. Mackenzie Mbako, Bryson Tucker, and Ja'Kai Newton as the small forwards. Malik Renew and Luke Goody as the power forwards. And then Omar Ballo, Langdon Hatton, and then Dallas James as the centers. I
Mhm.
think this can be a very good roster this year.
I do also hope that Renew gets some minutes at center as well. I think he was a center in high school. It's like his natural position, especially if the Renew Ballo combo down low doesn't gel like we're hoping for, like it's expected to. I hope he gets some minutes at center as well.
Yeah, I could see a lineup with Mbako at the four, Renew at the five, and then either Tucker or Goody at the three. Yeah, I can see that lineup like in intermittent games.
Mhm.
I also definitely would like to see Leal get as many minutes as he can. He like last year was, I think he was great, especially
Mhm.
in shooting. So
Definitely.
even though he's probably third behind Carlisle and Galloway, I think it's definitely easy to assume that he's going to get some minutes too.
He should definitely get some minutes. I mean, he could also play small forward. I think he's got the height for that. So I think there's just a lot of places he can play, and I just hope they can find space for him, especially deep into the season, because I think that's where he played his best, especially last year.
Yeah, it's a 40-minute game, so it's hard to play more than 10 guys. It just is. So I could see like Leal going in, like if it's a blowout and you're trying to save bodies, Leal, Newton, and Dallas James in there. Bring him in for some minutes. But
It's
going
also
into
not bad to just have depth too.
yeah, it's
Um,
never
Mhm.
and yeah, we could probably see like if injuries happen, because injuries aren't going to happen. It's good to
Mhm.
have Galloway, Newton, and Dallas there to be able to get that. And to wrap things up, we got some related information. With the new Big Ten, there's a new Big Ten Maps commercial, and I think it's
It
great.
looks so cool.
If you hate it, you're wrong. You're just
No, it's
wrong.
I'm so happy they brought it back.
I love how
Um,
long it feels now as we go all the way across the country now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it sometimes it gets a little quick, but that's just because they have to fit it within the 30-second time frame. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
What just a completely unrelated note, I think what the Big Ten Maps commercial like did for me is realize how many like cool football stadiums we're bringing into the Big Ten. Like Husky Stadium, they got the sailgating. Oregon's always great, and then you with the LA schools, you bring in the Rose Bowl and the LA Memorial Coliseum as well. But I think all four stadiums are featured on the commercial,
Yeah, I think so.
so that
Um,
that was really cool to see.
and I just want to just say something real quick, Schneider, because you're an UG, you have a connection to him. We need to do once Washington comes over here. We need to remake He Stole Our Shaco.
Oh, yeah.
If you
I'll
don't
get to
know,
work on
just
that.
look it up. If you don't know, just look it up. One of the best
I
things I've
forgot
ever
all about
seen.
that.
But keeping with the IU stuff, the IU Athletics Hall of Fame just released its 2024 class. Men's basketball guard Victor Oladipo made it, along with an announcer, Max Skirvin, who announced over 1,000 games for IU and was the play-by-play announcer and the voice of the Indiana University Network in 1967. Um, he also broadcasted 333 consecutive IU football games.
Wow.
He was a play-by-play announcer for 5 years and 25 more seasons as a color commentator. So it's really good for both of those guys to in there, get in that and be recognized, especially with Oladipo with all the stuff that's going on with him. I hope he finds some peace knowing that he's now with a lot of great athletes in that Hall of Fame. And with a much more positive note after that depressing part, um, I think there's going to be some new food added to the concessions. Buffalo Louie has already confirmed they're going to be there for men's basketball games, but
I love Buffalo.
there's an image circulating that Avers is going to be at the IU football games, which could mean they're going to be at IU basketball. I don't know if they have the same deal as Buffalo Louie's does, but I think this could be very, very good to have local chains be at concession stands. So that's
It's
going to
always
be,
good.
yeah, it's always good to have. And maybe we have the third quarter band go down and get some Buffalo
Isn't
Louie
Buffalo?
joke.
No, I love Buffalo. I only went there once last year, which is a crime. I know. I can't believe I only went there the one time, but their wings are really, really good.
Hey, at least you were able to go your freshman
I was
year.
able to go. Yeah, that's true.
I
But
have more Buffalo Louie's cups than Pizza X cups, if that tells you guys anything.
yeah.
I think I saved my Buffalo's cup. It's out in the garage somewhere.
Well,
Part of my
there's been
collection.
yeah. And everyone's favorite preseason event, Hoosier Hysteria, is coming back, and they're going to bring back the scrimmages, which I think is going to be very, very huge. I believe Hoosier Hysteria is going to be that October 18th date. So if you're able to come down, show up, show out, be here every single day, as the man Isaiah Thomas said. But also something that came up this week, just one last little thing. There are new there's a there 25 the 2025 to 2028 men's Big Ten tournament locations have been announced. This season, it's going to be in Indianapolis at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Next season, it's going to be at Chicago at the United Center. Whenever the band gets to go, they got to go to Giordano's.
I love the deep dish. So good.
2026, 27 is back in Indy at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And then 2027, 28, it's the first time it's going to be out of the Midwest into Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena, which is
That's dangerous.
home to both the Las Vegas Aces and Golden Knights, and maybe even possibly an NBA team whenever they get there. Who
I
knows?
think
That is
also
something.
yeah. I think the women's tournament is going to be there the year before
Yes, I
in
think so too.
2027, which I would love to go to that. Just putting that out there right now. Be
Um,
really
yeah, I think And I think the women's basketball, these next two seasons are going to be in Indy. So you get to experience all of it.
Yeah. No, I'm hoping that I get to go to the tournament in Vegas. That'd be my senior year. That's like be like the perfect way to finish off my 100 BRBB career.
That's gonna be weird. That's gonna be weird. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, that's gonna be
I'll
weird.
tell you, it's dangerous traveling a
Yeah,
bunch of college students
Dangerous.
to Vegas.
yeah. College kids in Vegas. That doesn't sound like
Oh
a great
my
time.
gosh. I'm
But
surprised they're not doing it like in Los Angeles.
Just
I
to
mean,
meet the median. Although you'd think
I
that
guess
would
so.
be like closer to like Colorado, maybe, or
I
maybe
think
Kansas City.
I think the media, like the middle of the Big Ten, is Iowa now.
No.
Yeah, that's too small.
Yeah,
I'm kind of sad that they're not scheduled. They haven't scheduled anymore for Minneapolis
yeah.
because
Minneapolis
I
is
went
fun.
there. We went there
Yep.
for the women's tournament
Hmm.
last year. I think we all
Yeah,
went at some point, and that was really cool city to visit.
yeah. Me and Ethan,
Very
we
clean
went to
city.
me and Ethan went to the one in Chicago the previous season for the men's tournament, and that was an experience.
Chicago. It was kind of sad to not be in the city. We were in Rosemont, our hotel, but we still got some time in downtown Chicago, and it's just something about Chicago. Chicago.
All right. Just before I finish wrapping things up, just disclaimer, anything I said on here is not indicative of my employer, Nashville SC. These are my personal thoughts. Just putting that out there right now. But just for future scheduling, next week is going to be men's and women's soccer preview, getting that in the works. And then it's going to be the Marching 100 episode. And then it's the preview for week one. All previews are going to be on Friday. Hopefully, I can get some 100 people to talk about the show that's going to be going in that week. But um, if you're interested, let me know. If you have people that you think would be interested, let me know, and we'll do what I can to get you guys on there. But it's gonna be school's around the corner for you guys. Have a lot of
I
fun.
can't believe it. I mean, yeah, I'm moving out next week, which I'm really excited for.
Hmm. And just for some preview, I'm gonna try to get all these episodes uploaded onto YouTube. And if I'm able to do, I think I'll be able to do. I'll try to ask off. But for homecoming weekend, I'm gonna try to do a homecoming weekend vlog. So that will include me going from where I'm in Nashville up to my hometown in Evansville to Bloomington, and then getting ready to do that. So that's
That'd be epic
that
for sure.
that's the hope. So and then play all the fun songs and all that jazz. So thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next one.